Hey, my name is Senior Airman Hulberg. I'm from the 172nd Airlift Wing in Jackson, Mississippi, and I'm here to talk about NATO nuclear enterprises and how does the DoD leverage the nuclear enterprise to further U.S. interest. Um, First thing I'm going to talk about is deterrence. The definition of deterrence is the action of discouraging an action or event through instilling doubt or fear of the consequences. Um, and Deterrence is a state of mind brought about by the existence of a credible threat of unacceptable counteraction. So basically, you would say, nuclear missiles uh, remain the main deterrence against possible aggression. So it's basically our knight in shielding armor, if you will. It's you know basically what's holding enemies back from further aggression if they choose to do that. Our nuclear capability underpins all other elements of deterrence. Um, it's by far our strongest ally. Uh, you know, far as what you'd say, our ground patrol, foot soldiers, F-35 submarines, uh, warships. Well, what? Uh, it's our greatest ally, pretty much. Um, Next thing I'm going to talk about is nuclear force structure. The U.S. nuclear force structure consists of ICBMs, bombers, and dual capable aircraft and submarine-launched ballistic missiles. Um, each nuclear capability asset offers distinct advantages. Uh, SLBM, also known as submarine-launched ballistic missiles, are the most survivable. ICBMs is intercontinental ballistic missiles, offer a prompt on-alert response capability plus dispersed fielding and numbers that deter attack. Bombers and dual-capable aircraft offer unique missions, flexibility, and distinct signaling in crisis. Um, so basically, a submarine launched ballistic missile is the most survivable because they make an acoustic quieting uh, that makes them difficult to detect uh, in the event of a first strike, and the key element of mutual assured destruction policy of nuclear deterrence. An intercontinental ballistic missile, it has a minimum range of 5,500 kilometers, uh, primarily designed for nuclear delivery. Uh, um, And as long as nuclear weapons exist, the U.S. will maintain safe, secure, and effective nuclear forces, including deployed and stockpiled nuclear weapons, highly capable nuclear delivery system, and C2 capabilities, and the physical infrastructure and expert personnel needed to sustain them. So, as long as we have nuclear weapons, basically nobody's going to mess with us as far as long, long range warfare. Um, because we sit on top. We have the most. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the effects of nuclear weapons. It's bad stuff. Everybody knows that. Big mushroom clouds, lots of radiation, all kinds of stuff. Uh, the degree of destruction depends upon a number of factors such as weapon design and yield, location, height, and such things as that. Um, Communications and computer capability will be severely impacted by EMP, which is an operational effect that may lead to a long-term strategic impact for the enemy. Um, it'll be a long time for they'll be able to restore their capabilities. Uh, the immediate operational impact of a nuclear detonation varies and may come from a blast and heat, this subsequent electromagnetic pulse, otherwise known as EMP, or or more far-reaching effects depending on the variables. Um, the U.S. specifically has what's known as the triad There was an old triad, the Cold War triad. Now there's the new triad. Uh, I mean, it's roughly the same, um, except they added C2 intelligence and planning, um, instead of just the old-fashioned silos, bombers, and submarines. Uh, the U.S. argued that these different basing modes had complementary strengths and weaknesses. Uh, um, uh, Submarine launched space missiles had the survivability needed to complicate, contem- complicate Soviet efforts, and the intercontinental ballistic missiles have the accuracy and prompt responsiveness needed to attack hardened targets such as Soviet command posts and intercontinental ballistic missile silos. Um, and the last thing I'm going to talk about is the amount of nuclear power we have. And we, from 1960 to about 1990, it's rose from about below 2,000 warheads to roughly around 13,000 warheads, and it's just such a big jump. Uh, the world's basically shaking in their boots, uh, because nobody wants to mess with the U.S., and that's how the DoD deters from enemy attack and keeps its leverage. Uh, Thank you for hearing me talk about the nuclear enterprises.